Video game scores, everybody complains that they're so bad, critics are so bad, the scores are so off, so much cringy shit, etc. Why is this title suddenly a big deal? It's blah de blah de blah. And I think, first of all, we've all kind of exaggerated the importance of scores. But there's a reason for this. You see, in my opinion, Rotten Tomato can eat a dick. I find its general consensus hugely off in a lot of things. I don't particularly care about it. I don't particularly find user scores necessarily that much better, but better than critical ones as a whole. That's, my opinion, whatever, but I'm just saying I think a lot of critics can eat a dick. But video game scores, there was a point where they were generally respected. Like, we thought games journalism was fantastic, and I'm not saying this hasn't gotten worse, I'm just saying I think we tend to ignore the fact that a lot of us, even if you're like me and you're in your 20s, have lived through a bit of a golden age, an age of benchmark pushing titles. And I don't think we've had a benchmark pushing title in roughly a decade. I would say the last one, maybe Resident Evil 4. I can't think of anything else. I mean, if I wasn't going to pick on Resident Evil 4, I'd probably have to pick something that loads of people would get mad at me about and go, I don't know, Wii Sports or something like that, because fuck, I guess it was different. It did a lot of things which weren't done that regularly before. But look, here's the thing: we haven't had a huge genre-breaking title in a long time. We've had vague sort of variations on old ideas. Like, we've had the first person run away from things horror, which we've both had before. What's the one everyone likes, Amnesia, and we've also had a whole ton of massive titles which had a similar idea but weren't in first person, etc. Point is, it was done. But, then we've got Gears of War, which cover shooters were not huge, but they were there before Gears. And let's face it, Gears took a lot of influence from Resident Evil 4, which was kind of another thing which made it big. And I know you can argue with me about the Resident Evil 4 stuff. I'm just saying we're not seeing GTA 3s, we're not seeing Mario 64s, we're not seeing Ocarina of Times, we're not seeing Dooms nowadays. Stuff like that is gone by, and I don't think we're gonna see another like really genre breaking, blockbuster, benchmark pushing, game changing thing for who knows. It could be decades. It might not happen within my lifespan. And I hope I live a decent time, because I do try to stay healthy. Look, I got my apple juice and I'm just back from a cycle. Does that count for anything? I don't fucking know. But the point is, scores back then, they were a big deal, because when something did get those perfect tens, there was the chance that it would be something which would change the industry. It's not anymore. The Last of Us. What is The Last of Us? I don't think it's bad. I have no issue with The Last of Us. But it is Oscar bait. And I mean, it's like, it's that awkward thing where you watch that terrible, terrible Charlie Brooker TV show, how video games changed the world, and it's placed at number 2, and they avoid talking about how you fight zombies, or even that it's basically a third-person stealth shooter, to say, well, it's about this girl and this guy, and they're living in the apocalypse, and here's a scene where she talks about like a book about horses, and how the girl goes like, is this what girls used to read? And it's something feminism, and it's a big deal. Like, please, I'm begging you, my 70, 80, 90-year-old parents who are still alive, accept games as art, because this is important. It's cringe-inducing, and it's, oh, that show was such shit. But that's the thing, you're gonna get stuff like that. And with Oscars, let's be honest, it's been the same. I mean, dude, I actually think 12 Years a Slave is fantastic. I mean, of what was nominated, I'd have picked it. Granted, what I would have picked as Film of the Years, that's not going to get nominated because my tastes run very contrary to what the Oscars like. But, you know, what point is, we're going to see this stuff. What's going to happen is it's going to be a mix of the big, huge, heavily pushed titles like the Gods of War, like holy shit, can you believe God of War 3 was generally better received by than Bayonetta? That is terrible, but you know it's not the worst thing ever. Grand Theft Auto 5, etc., which I absolutely love personally, but you know I don't think it did anything radically new. It certainly didn't push any bars. Unlike, you know, 3 did, which, let's face it, is the one which, even if Urban Chaos kind of had similar ideas and did it before, it's the one which really perfected a lot of that stuff. And my point is, at the end, we've placed a lot of importance in them because back a long, long time ago, high scores really did mean something, and they just don't anymore. And I think people just have to sort of learn that maybe Metacritic, maybe Games Ranking, maybe etc. Maybe they just don't matter, and you shouldn't take them seriously. They are not worth it.